Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Parapod with your hosts, the man that got 18 votes in Alabama, started his own party called Marky Mark and the Funky Punch. It's Mark.
Howdy there, listeners. What's up?
And me, the unofficial president of the universe of the weenies. The universe of the weenies.
The weeniverse.
The weeniverse.
The weeniverse. The expanded weeniverse. There's so many directions we can go in.
My name's Owen. How are you doing all today? We are recording this on the day on the 4th, so day after election day. You know, things are pretty. Don't know about you, Mark, but I'm still sweating.
I am pumping. Still pumping. Very tired. It was a long night. Complete waste of time as well. Nothing happened. You have to wait another week. You know?
Yeah, what a shame.
Actually, by the time this comes out.
By the time this is out there, they'll probably have a president at that stage.
It'd be like a military junta.
Yeah, it'd be the Civil War had already started.
Yeah. We're just there like, yeah, the election was yesterday.
Actually, no, maybe this thing doesn't even get posted because we are getting nuked.
Yeah, the internet gets cut off. Maybe it could happen. You know,
it's all a possibility.
Know. Those Americans.
Those damn Americans. Shout out to our American listeners, by the way.
Yeah, geez, 9%. Oof. Love it.
Jesus. Mental.
They're very consistent.
Yeah, they actually are very consistent, so I wish they contacted us to let us know.
Yeah, like they're just there in the darkness listening to us.
Yeah.
It's probably the CIA or something, man.
Maybe.
It's definitely some sort of DARPA project, you know? They're just listening into us.
You just see me try and go back to Canada. We're just stopped at the border. We're never seen again. No one ever. It's like, what happened to Owen and Mark? It's like, oh, the Parapod, it got them done. Trump really likes the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Donald Trump listening in. I love your stuff, guys.
Amazing stuff, guys. Exquisite. Oh God. Besides watching the presidential election, what you been up to this week?
I watched a few movies, did a few things. Just it's more of a layabout week than anything, you know. You know.
I feel you.
You know, I just watched. I watched this
movie
movie
on Halloween.
Me? Oh, just on Halloween. What
Yeah.
did I do on Halloween? I sat in. I just did nothing.
Did you watch films on Halloween or what you do?
I don't know. I can't remember. I remember there's loads of fireworks going off. But actually, I don't remember anything about. I don't remember anything about this week at all. I remember a few movies. It's like a memory hole. I just don't know anything about. I don't know where I'm going.
It's that third week of lockdown, man. I tell you.
Yeah, time is like no meaning anymore. Yeah, it's a time sink. I got around to a few movies. I watched this thing called Dead Man with Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, is that good?
It is. It's really intriguing.
I've had that on my list for ages.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, so it's pretty accessible.
Oh, sweet.
And it's a film by Jim Jarmusch, which I think is how you pronounce his name. He's like famous, but I've never watched any of his movies.
Yeah.
He has like Only Lovers Left Alive, which is apparently really good. That's on Mubi. But he directed this in like the mid 90s. Johnny Depp is like this sort of like rogue character in like the American West. But like he's really unassuming. He's not like a swashbuckling kind of character. He's just like he turns into this. I don't really know what my interpretation of the movie was because I watched it in like a haze. Maybe it was Halloween that I watched it.
Is it a weird film? Is it, or is it like kind of straightforward?
It is. It's really weird.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's like weird things happen. You know the way we're talking about there's like no Native Americans in American cinema. It's like this film is it like distinguishes between. It's the only film I've seen where they distinguish between different tribes of Native Americans, and the main Native American in it. It's a guy called Nobody. That's his name or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually Native American. I think his name's Gary Farmer or something.
Gary Farmer.
Yeah. It's one of those strange names. But it's set in like the Wild West, so like just as they're like sort of completing the genocide, and that's sort of part of the story.
Just like kind of completing a genocide. Do you know how it be?
Yeah, just finishing it up is at the end of the day. And nobody's this guy who was abducted as a kid and sent over to England, and that's who he knows. Like his comport, like the way he handles himself, is very like I don't know how you describe it. It just seems like a normal person. There's no way to describe that properly, but he seems like a Western or like an Anglo, the way he handles himself. But then he returned to his tribe, and they rejected him because he had been sort of brainwashed, I suppose, to this old world way of life.
Colonialized.
Yeah, he got colonized to bits. So then he's like, I'm forced to wander the earth as nobody, speaking to no one and stuff like that. And Johnny Depp like follows them around, and they get up to some crazy hijinks. It's all in black and white as well. Iggy Pop is in it at some point.
I was thinking, because I remember seeing the cover for it, and I was like, oh, this is a black and white film, cool. But I haven't, like, is it violent or anything, or?
It's not really violent, no. People die, people get shot.
Is it a slow movie, is it?
Nah, it's pretty short as well, or I felt like it was pretty short.
I'm pretty sure this thing is like 2 hours, or like a little bit over 2 hours.
It had a good clip to it, like, I never felt bored.
Yeah, okay, that's good. It looks like from the poster, I was like, that looks like a boring fucking film. But I want to watch it because I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's a cool take on, because westerns are usually just like
glorification of the West of America, like.
Yeah, stuff like The Searchers, just like it's all about the old world conquering the new. But this is more like it's more a sensitive treatment of it. And Johnny Depp's character is called William Blake, and nobody confuses him or like intentionally sort of obfuscates the boundaries between Johnny Depp's character and the actual writer William Blake, like the poet.
Yeah.
So like he draws in all these different motifs from Blake's poetry and like quotes different lines and stuff like that. And it's a really weird mix. It's like a psychedelic mix almost. So it's like an acid western more than a conventional sort of cops and robbers story.
Yeah,
but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just on YouTube there to watch, so well worth a look.
That's so handy. Yeah, I miss shit like that. I miss those, like, I remember watching Project X on YouTube years ago, and it can be kind of hard to find films like that. I remember looking up like full movies on YouTube, and it's just these like fucking like Scandinavian like Bollywood films and like Nollywood films that you're never gonna ever fucking hear of. And it's like I'm not gonna fucking just click this 2 hour long film on just to see what it's like with captions that are like auto generated, so they might not even be right.
Yeah, that's another thing actually in Dead Man. Like there's parts where they converse in native languages, and there's different native languages that show up. So it's not just like one particular tribes, but like they purposely don't subtitle anything, so you don't know what they're saying. Apparently there's like in jokes and like cultural Native American cultural references thrown into the dialogue for
that's cool.
For their lines, but like a Western viewer, someone who doesn't understand the language wouldn't get any of it. You just see their body language.
Yeah, I never even because like obviously it was a thing, but that's like the first time that I ever thought like, oh yeah, obviously Native American tribes would not speak the same language as each other.
Yeah, they all just spoke Native American.
They just spoke American.
Yeah, there's loads of different languages.
Yeah, I got a weird. So I've been watching weird tie-in to Johnny Depp in your movie, right? I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula during the week. Have you ever seen it?
The one with Gary Oldman in it?
Yeah.
I've never seen it, no.
So the weird tie-in is that Keanu Reeves is in this movie, but Francis Ford Coppola originally wanted Johnny Depp to play his role, and I really wish he did, because Keanu Reeves' accent is fucking horrendous. Is
it the English accent?
Oh, he's literally like... Oh, there's like a bit where he's like, I know where the bastard sleeps. Like, he's not good in it at all. But Gary Oldman fucking makes up for it, because Gary Oldman is fucking amazing in it. He's so good.
He's Dracula, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he is Dracula. And like, because like I remember we were talking about like a while ago, and I was like, oh, I need to watch that movie. And then a video came up on my YouTube about it. I was like, oh, I'll watch this. And if I didn't watch the video, I would not know about this. That all the special effects were done in camera, or like manipulating the camera footage. It's not like CGI or anything like that. So like there's like famously like the shadow of Dracula doesn't move the way that he moves, and the way that they did that was that they just had another guy standing there and they manipulated the lights, and he was dressed up as like the same costume, moving differently to Gary Oldman, but like there's no shadow to Gary Oldman because of the way that they did the lights and stuff like that. And it's really fucking cool. It's really, really cool. Like it's the whole idea was that it was using special effects of the early 1900s, when this is meant to be set. And you know they're talking about in the film about like the emergence. There's like a bit where like Dracula's going off to London, and he's well, actually, I didn't realize this, that most of the film actually takes place in London. Like Dracula's just chilling about in London for most of the film. And what's her name? Winona Ryder is in it as well, and the two of them are kind of like at a circus, like fair. What's the one I'm looking for? Not a circus, a
Carnival.
like a traveling entertainment thing.
A circus.
Maybe circus is the right word. I thought there was anyway, yeah, circus. I thought there was a different word for it, but at a circus, whatever. And they're like talking about like about film, and they're like, oh yeah, the glory of science, and someone's just like, oh, it won't go that far, like it won't become like a huge thing because they won't be able to do that much with it. And he's like, oh, I see what you're doing, Francis Ford Coppola. I see what you're talking about there. But like the whole thing is that like the special effects that they're seeing in the cinema, like Dracula and Winona Ryder, I can't remember her character's name, but what the special effects that they see in the cinema within the film are the same techniques that are being used by the film itself to make its special effects. So it's pretty cool like that. And yeah, it's a really colorful, really nicely shot, well acted, spooky old film. And like, you know, Dracula, like he has like transformations in the film, like he turns into like this bat monster thing, and it's like, you know, it's all practical effects. It's really cool. I liked it.
Oh really? Yeah. It's on Mubi.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah, I recommend. And it's like 2 hours long. But I didn't realize that, like, I assume it's the same in the book, that Dracula just goes to London. I can only assume that that's what it is.
Oh, he's trying to buy property in London. That's the premise, isn't it?
Yeah, but like in the film, it's like he's trying to buy. He's buying property for whatever reason, and that's actually never. I don't think that's ever explained. But he ends up going to London because he sees Winona, like Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder are like, you know, a thing in the film, and he sees a photo of Winona Ryder, and she looks exactly like his lover. Because like this is the start of the film, whatever. Like the reason why he became Dracula was because his lover died, and he's just like, oh, I forsake you, God, and all this shit, right? And it's like that's
holy shit. Who cares?
Dracula is like he's actually like a tragic figure in the film. Like you kind of do empathize with him, because it's like, man, you like, because the whole thing is like at the start of the film is like he's fighting on the behalf of God.
Dracula, and he blames
like as a human.
Oh, okay.
Like before he doesn't turn into like a vampire. He's like a normal dude. He's like a warrior, and he's like doing all this heinous, fucked up shit for God, and he's fighting all these battles, and then his fiance kills herself because she thinks that he died, and he's just like, I've forsaken you, God. I did all this for you. I fucking impaled people on spikes for you. What the fuck? And then he turns into, you know, Dracula.
Yeah.
Or Dracula, as he's referred to in the film. And Anthony Hopkins is in the film as well.
Who's he? Who's he playing?
Van Helsing.
Ah, legend.
Yeah. They do actually that just reminds me, they do a really cool bit where like there's like a female vampire, and when she's killed, they use a fucking like a crucifix to get her like back into the coffin, and they just like reversed the footage, so it looks really weird the way that she's like moving backwards and gets back into the coffin. It looks like really, really unnatural, and it's like, it's cool because, you know, like obviously like she's getting all fucked up because of the crucifix and stuff like that, but it's cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Coppola at it again.
Yeah, like Coppola, they just using like really cool camera techniques and weird ideas and stuff like that. But some of the stuff, like there's a shot of like of Keanu Reeves going through like in the train, and in the outside it's like he's reading like a letter from Dracula or something, and the outside looks like hell, like there's fires and like shit like that, and then Dracula's eyes are starting to appear in the clouds, and like knowing that like it wasn't CGI, I'm just like I don't know how they did that.
How is that not CGI?
Yeah, no, I'm just like I don't know how you manipulated
The clouds.
the film itself to make that. It's so weird because they like restricted because it isn't CGI. Like that was the whole thing, and like it looks cool as fuck. It looks really cool. It has a really nice
Is that on the
effect.
poster? Is that like I feel like I remember an image of that. It's like
Yeah, I assume it's a really famous shot because I don't know how they did it. I have no idea how they did it.
The Simpsons one as well is great as well. The Simpsons parody, remember that one?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Burns is the vampire. That's the only reason I know about that movie.
That's how I found out about the film as well because I didn't know that was, Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. And he does move like he doesn't walk, like he just like glides towards you and stuff like that. It's really cool, and it's like they do like loads of cool bits to, like let you know that this dude is fucking evil. Like he there's a bit where like his shadow goes across like a bunch of flowers and the flowers die.
Here. That's a bit
Yeah, like
heavy-handed.
that's how like evil this dude is.
This guy's so evil. Look at the flowers. That's cool. Always welcome for a good Dracula retelling, you know? Such a cool story.
It is a cool story, and especially this one, I recommend it. The pacing, I thought at one stage was a bit weird because I was like, I didn't know what was going on at one stage. Like I was really confused because at one point, Keanu Reeves goes into a room and starts having an orgy with 3 vampires, and I was like, is this a dream? But it wasn't a dream. Like it was actually happening.
Why?
And it threw me off because like the way that it's shot and the way that like it comes out of nowhere. Like he just goes into a room and he starts hearing voices. I was like, oh, this is a dream or whatever, because he's getting all fucked up by like Dracula's evilness. And then it turns out to be actually real. I was like, wait, what? And then and then it just cuts to Dracula like going to London. I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then he's in London, and then people are it's just, if you watch the film, like that like sequence from like Keanu Reeves having an orgy with 3 vampires to like when the story like settles down, it's really quick, and it's like I found it really confusing. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, that sounds a bit weird.
Especially because I was really confused because like, how come he's not a vampire? Because he gets bitten by the vampires and stuff like that, and it's only later, like fucking an hour later, do they explain why? Because it's that you have to drink the blood of a vampire as well as them to drink your blood. It's like a sex thing.
Oh.
But they don't explain that until like nearly towards the end of the film, and I was so confused. Like during that whole thing, it's like, oh, then that means Keanu Reeves is a vampire now, and then he wasn't. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this a dream?
So you have to consent to being a vampire in this.
Kind of like
Basically,
like
you have to drink their blood.
yeah, but like Dracula drinks the blood of a girl and also like basically like forces his blood into her mouth or whatever, because she's walking away, she's like, oh, I tasted his blood, and then she turns into a vampire later on. So like she didn't consent, bro.
Dracula just got me too'd.
Oh man, there's a bit later on in the film where like Winona Ryder is like wanting to like, to become a vampire. Let me tell you, the film makes it very fucking clear that this is like, this is a sex thing, and they're getting a lot of enjoyment out of turning into a vampire and stuff like that, because oh my fucking god, the moaning and the grunts that are made out of the two of them, and like later, like when the girl earlier on in the film is turning into a vampire, she's like proper like making orgasm noises.
Jesus.
And
Perverse.
Gary Oldman has his cum face on when Winona Ryder's drinking his blood. It's sensual, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dracula's cum face. Good gravy.
Yeah.
This sounds
Gravy's right.
This sounds titillating. You know.
Very good film though.
I'll
I
definitely have to
recommend.
watch this. Stick
It's
this
not even
on.
like a spooky film or anything. It's like it kind of I watched it just before. I watched it on Friday, so like the day before Halloween, and it set the tone. But it's a film that you can watch whenever. It's not like it's not exclusively a spooky movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch after this.
Besides Dead Man, what else did you said you were watching a short film or something? What was it?
I watched Malcolm Glazer, the guy who did Under the Skin.
Yes.
He did. Is it Malcolm Glazer or is that the United owner? It's something like something like that.
I
Something
think no,
Glazer.
it's something. It is or Matthew. It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a short film. It's on Mubi as well. I just saw it on Mubi. It's only 7 minutes long. It's called The Fall. He says it's about fascism, according to an article I read. He says it's something to do with Trump, but it's like
When did it come out?
2017. It was broadcast on
yes,
the
yes,
BBC without warning after like a football match or something like that.
What the
and
fuck?
there's
How do
no
you-
credits, no sign of where it was from, or like it's a pretty intense 7 minutes. It's basically a lynching where it's all these guys in masks, wearing like hockey masks basically, or they're all in like theater masks, and there's one guy who has like a sad face, and the rest have like angry faces. And the guy in the sad face is shaking out of a tree, and they grab him and hang him from a gallows. And
Jesus.
when he drops through the hatch and like falls down, it's not just a straight drop. Like the rope is like, I don't know, like 100 meters long, and it's a straight drop down into like this hole that just keeps going. And after he drops, it's just a shot of the gallows and the rope like spinning, like really high pitched noise.
Yeah.
Against the frame of the gallows as it's dropping down, and it stays on that shot for about 80, 90 seconds, and then you find out, and then it suddenly stops, and you're like, oh shit, like, because it's hard to tell what it is at first, and then you're like, oh shit, it's gallows.
Yeah.
Like, he's just been hanged, but then you find out that he's somehow survived the drop, and he's at the bottom of this hole, and you can only barely see the light at the top, and he starts climbing up, like using his arms, and like he's basically naked, just like sort of like against the slippery walls, like this. It's almost like a well, and he's like trying to climb up, and there's like no footing that you can grab onto, and you're just like, oh look, like this is gonna take ages, and then it just cuts, and that's it.
What the fuck?
It's something about
The fall into fascism or something?
no, like when things decay, or how I read it was like when things get bad, it's a much longer slog up than it is to fall down. It's much easier to fall than it is to climb back up.
Yeah.
It's a very, very simple movie. It's pretty intense though. I liked it. I especially like the masks, because there's no need to go into character or anything like that. It was just like these icons, and like this one guy gets thrown into this awful situation, and you feel bad for him obviously, because he's just been lynched. The feeling you get at the bottom of the hole is like, so it's like, as a viewer you're like, oh, this is gonna be like, you feel really bad for him, but you're also like, it's gonna take ages for him to climb out of this thing.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, like that's the end, like that's the point of the movie.
That's the end of Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah. I definitely watch it because it's 7 minutes, so might as well. I fucking love Under the Skin as well, so I'll definitely give that a watch. I've been using Mubi a lot recently, just like flicking through and just watching films that are just there. Because, I think Mubi has like the best collection of films at the moment, because there's loads of weird shit that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like the fucking, like some of the films I've seen on Mubi they're never ever going to be on Netflix.
No, it has all this weird stuff from Brazil and like Indonesia. I haven't watched any of them, but like you never find them. None of us would ever hear about those movies unless they're on Mubi.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're never ever going to come to Netflix, and they're never going to be on like fucking Amazon Prime or, any fucking site, but because Mubi is like for that, you're going to get those weird fucking films.
Yeah.
I wish that they had slightly more like weird classics, but they have a few. They got a few of them.
Yeah.
Like they got Fellaini stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had a good Halloween selection there as well.
They did. They definitely did. it's a good service. I think it's definitely worth. We have it for free because we did that little scheming thing where like yeah.
We scammed them, yeah.
Yeah, we go to college and we're not done until 2025.
They closed that loophole. Yeah, tragic.
Well, I think it is definitely worth it just to give it a trial and have a look at what they have, especially if you're into the weirder films.
It's only €50 a year. That's their offer.
€50 a year.
Their latest offer.
That is worth it. €50 for the selection they have, so that you're never gonna find anywhere else. They have I want to watch the TV show, but they have a short film of killing and a short film of love, which are like extended versions of episodes of Decalogue. Do you know that TV show?
Yeah, Decalogue. Yeah, you're telling me about it.
But I want to watch the TV show and then watch the films. But they have the two films on it. Like they have a short film about killing and a short film about love, which is cool because their films. I'm like, I'm never gonna find them anywhere, and then they're just sitting there on Mubi. It's cool.
You know what? Remember I blacked out about Halloween. I remember what I was doing Halloween. I watched The Hills Have Eyes, which is on Mubi right now.
Yes.
Is
it good?
Eyes. It is good. It's like it's less gory than the new one. It's like it's not that.
I haven't seen the new one, but I know that the new one's like really fucked up.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but yeah, I'm the same. Like I've heard all these weird, like horrible stories about it. I've read the plot summary, and it's like I'm like it's not really for me. I don't think. But this one isn't really. It doesn't lean into all that stuff. Like there are horrible things happening in it, but it's like it's not gratuitous really. The one in the new one has like a scene where some guy gets like someone like dies in a portaloo because they're covered in shit, and like they've sliced open they're covered in cuts and they die of like blood poison. It's just like there's like
what the fuck?
It's way too convoluted. It's just like it's like Saw kind of gore,
Yeah.
But this one is like it's really fucked up, but it's just a good watch. It's pretty straight to the point. It's not that long either.
No, it's only like an hour and a half.
It has the whole sort of Texas Chainsaw vibe. Like there's sort of these themes of fate. I don't know. I just feel like I can't remember why, but I remember I felt like this is a lot like Texas Chainsaw at the start.
I was gonna ask that because it gives off similar vibes to Texas Chainsaw. I think it's just like the grittiness and dirtiness of like how it was shot and like where they are and stuff like that gives it off.
The fact that it's bright as well. It's always bright in the movie.
Yeah.
Except for one sequence, which is hadn't been done or isn't usually done in horror movies. Yeah,
normally that's like doesn't really happen. Like Midsummer gets fucking acclaimed for having that idea.
Yeah, so it's been done. But there's the main guy with the fucked up head, like one of the inbred. He's supposed to be inbred in the movie. He's like you expect he's gonna be like the big bad or whatever. Like he's the king. He's like living out in the hills or whatever. But he's on the cover and all. He's like the most iconic character. Yeah, he just shows up and he starts fucking stuff up straight away. And he's like he's perfectly like coherent character as well. Like he's almost the smartest of the bunch, which is bizarre. And the whole origin story of this, like the whole point is like I can't remember his name, but he's like there's like this gas station owner, and he had this son who was like a complete wild card. Like he was just a loose cannon.
A wild child.
He was a wild child, and it's like he couldn't keep him on a leash. And one day he burned down his gaff, and your man's baby daughter was inside, and he's like, I knew he did it, but I couldn't prove it. And he beat him, and then the wild child ran off into the hills, and he's like, I know to this day he's out there somewhere. He's no reason to suspect this, and he's explaining all this to the father of the family who'd been stranded, who got like stuck out in the desert. And this guy's walked out for a few miles and found this gas station, and he's like, I know he's out there somewhere. And then out of nowhere, behind him, the wild child grown up reaches in through the window and just grabs him. Like there's no real lead up to it. It's pretty comical the way they do it. He's just like, shit, and just kills him straight away. And then they fuck up the dad as well.
Just when he's talking about him.
Yeah. I know he's out there somewhere. It's like, how many nights did he do that? Like, how many hundreds of times did he say that? Just waiting. I know he's out there, man. And he's.
I know you're out there.
And they kill the dad and really like. I'm pretty spoiling this.
It's only the start of the film, so.
Yeah, this is basically the start of the movie. But they kill the dad as well. It's fucked up. and then they torment the family because they're still
It
stranded
sounds
out in
fucked
the
up.
desert. And they have a baby. A baby is involved as well, which is really something that really stuck out to me in terms of horror, because they never usually involve that sort of stuff. And like nothing terrible happens to the baby, but there's that looming threat the entire time. And it's like there's a scene where they're all in the trailer, and things have kicked off, and they're like the girls are cowering in the corner, and one of the inbred guys rushes off like a table, and a cloth falls down, and you see the baby in the crib, and it's just like this moment of like absolute like just dread. Just even as a viewer, it's fucked up. But
you're just like, oh fuck,
yeah,
no.
you're like, oh fucking hell. But yeah, it's good. It's well worth a watch.
I'll definitely give it a go, because Wes Craven, I like his stuff, so it's definitely worth a go. Speaking of, are they cannibals in Hills of Eyes?
Yeah.
Cannibals.
Cannibals.
Well, speaking of cannibals, I watched a cannibal movie myself. I watched Cannibal Holocaust. Do you know anything about this film?
They put the director on trial, didn't they?
For obscenity, yes.
For obscenity, yeah.
And he had to prove that he didn't actually kill the cast.
yeah. Is it realistic? Yeah.
No.
No.
No. I think right. So, for those people that don't know, Cannibal Holocaust is a film that came out
It's 1980.
1980. Okay, grand. 1980. And it is like one of the first found footage films. And I think that's why people at the start, the same way with Blair Witch, with Paranormal Activity, people thought that it might be real. And I think that it doesn't look real by today's standards, but I think back in the day, people kind of fell for it. But it's a notorious film for being like really, really violent and really fucked up. And it is all those things, but the film, besides the things, has like a kind of a message. But this film has brain damage, so that the fucking message is destroyed.
What's the message?
The message is like, alright, so full spoilers for this film. No one's gonna watch this film. Alright, this is another one of the most disturbing films of all time. They don't recommend that you watch it. It's on Mubi, that's why I watched it. They also actually they really kill the animals in the film.
They kill the turtle, isn't it?
Oh man, they decapitate that turtle and rip its shell open, and it's all real. Like, they actually did
That's
that.
bad out.
And monkeys get their heads cut off. They shot a pig, and they fucked up a tarantula and a snake as well. But the turtle scene is really fucked up. But I wasn't sure, because I was watching the film, and alright, so I was watching the film, right? And the first 45 minutes or so is like a pretty standard film. It's shot normally or whatever. And I was like, oh, I thought the whole film was found footage, but okay, no, it's not. And the structure of the film is really cool, because the way that the film starts is like a kind of like a TV show. And they're like, oh, 4 brave Americans went off into the Amazon to document cannibal tribes, and they never came back. And America, as a country, we remember these heroes for their bravery. And then it cuts to this guy, and it's like a TV, it's as if we're watching the TV show. It's not like, and people are, it's like we're watching this TV show. And then it cuts the document, the TV show that we're watching. It's like, oh yeah, this guy went off and found them, and then it cuts to him going off and trying to find them. And he never finds them, but he finds the tape, and then the film cuts between us watching the tape and them talking about the tape, if you know what I mean, right? And it's a cool structure, the way that they did it, especially because this is one of the first found footage films, and it's interesting to see how the genre itself kind of found its footing in this film.
Found its footage.
Nice one.
Yes.
But it's it's an interesting part where the we're watching the found footage of the camera crew that went off, and they're talking over it because they're watching it as well. But then it seeps in past that framing to where we're just watching the film, if you know what I mean. And it's cool. Now, one of the problems that I have with like Diary of the Dead, which is another found footage film, is that it has music, and this film also has music, even though it's a found footage film. But I give this film a bit of slack because it's one of the first ones, and it's kind of more forgiving. So like I think like that's like kind of the most interesting part about the film is that the structure and the framing of the film is easily like the coolest thing about this film. Everything else in this film is fucking shite.
Isn't there? There's a part where like a girl gets impaled on like a stake, isn't there?
Yeah. There's a few things like that. Like this film has like a lot of like really unnecessary violence, and it doesn't really add anything to the narrative or anything. Like the first time that we come across the tribe is the guy that's going out to like find the people. He's like sitting on a bank with like his like guide and like two other dudes, and we see a like tribal guy come in, and he has a woman, and he proceeds to. Okay, so I think we should maybe. He proceeds to do what he proceeds to do what you think he's gonna do with a cylinder-like rock, and then beats the woman over the head with it. And it's just like, why is this? Why, like, just why is this going on? You didn't need to have this the way that he finds them. You could have just had him stumbling upon the tribal and they just follow him that way. Like, it's just unnecessary. And then this only progresses to more unnecessary violence, and there's a lot of rape in this film. There's a lot of rape in this film, and it's just not needed. There's an abortion scene for no reason whatsoever.
It's the exploitation thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, you remember that conversation we were having about with Irreversible and like the extremity and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And how that like added to the film's narrative. Like, if this film had a better like the message of the film is like this camera crew are going in, and they're being told, like, we're being told as the viewer, like, great Americans that are going in, great documentarians and stuff like that. And we find out that like they stage their documentaries. So when they come across like one of the smaller tribes, they have their guns and all, and they round up all the people into a hut, and then they set the hut on fire, and they're gonna stage it afterwards, like one of the other tribes came in and like massacred them all. And that's it. That is the entire message for the next 40 minutes. That is what the message being, like, the West lies about their involvement in colonialism, and they try and frame it as something else. Like, that's the message, and it's a cool message. But that's it. And we see that message played out in different, more fucked up scenarios for the next 40 minutes, and it's never expanded upon beyond that point. Beyond, colonialism is really fucked up. And like, it's cool, man. Like, it's right. But, when you're portraying such brutal acts of violence, I would like if you kind of threw in a bit more to think about, other than, because it's just surface level, and they draw attention to it so many times in the film. Like, the last fucking lines of the film is the guy coming out with a fucking pipe, and he's just like, in the end, I wonder who the real cannibals were. And it's like, just fuck you. You're not smart at all.
Is that a line?
That is the final line of the film.
Is that the line?
That's the line. In the end, I wondered who the real cannibals were.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep, bro.
Deep, bro. Thank you for beating me over the head with your fucking message.
Is this one of those Italian movies?
It is an Italian film, yes.
It is. Man, those Italians, what were they doing in the 70s, Like, that movie, I think we might have done it in the class, like Africa Addio.
No.
It's like that sort of genre, but it's just set in Africa instead. And but the message is, like, it opens with like a narration or like a title card, and it's like Europe has abandoned its favorite child. Europe has abandoned Africa, basically, and now we need to save it again. And the message is, they've turned into savages now that we've abandoned them. But like, there's another sort of like anti-colonialist aspect to it. But it's basically like, we didn't do it right the last time. We gotta help them again.
Jesus
it's like,
Christ.
It's like, it was decried as, like, even at the time, it was decried as like a fascist
It
like
sounds it.
extremely racist fascist movie, and they were just like, you know what we mean, you know. The Italians are great for that stuff, you know. Just
Yeah.
like being so like, I don't know, obnoxiously like tone deaf about those things.
Like, this film is obnoxious, and it's complete. Like, alright, so after they burn down the village, two characters, a man and a woman, just start having sex right in front of like all the tribes people, and you're watching it, and you're just the first thought I had is, how did anyone think that this is real? How did anyone believe that like these people actually died or any sort of harm? But anyway, they start having sex, and then like it's like zooms out, and you realize like, oh, the tribe people are literally right there, as like, you know, these two white people are fucking after burning down the village. I get what you're saying, but why is the camera guy, one of their mates, just recording this? And why are they recording any of this? Why are they incriminating themselves like this? Well, they're literally like, because they're burning down the village. I was like, why are they doing that? And then one character just shouts, "Oh, we're framing like the fucking tree people did it," or some shit like that. Like, they're called like the enemy tribe.
The tree people.
They're called like,
that's a bit on the nose.
they're like called like whatever name they're called, the tree people. Like, that's what they're called throughout the film.
Alright.
And it's just like, okay, thank you for shouting that out to me as the viewer, because you did not explain in any fucking way beforehand. You had to tell me what these characters are doing instead of just showing it.
Yeah, that sounds a bit grim.
And the first 45 minutes is fucking boring.
How long is this movie?
An hour and a half. 45 minutes of a snooze fest, and then the next 45 minutes, super hyper violence and a terribly told message, and it's not well acted, it's not well shot, nothing, and you're constantly asking yourself like, why are you doing this? Like, this is a stage where like they get like a tribeswoman, and they begin to rape her, and they're recording themselves raping her, and the girl is like more concerned about like, you know, oh, you're wasting the footage as opposed to the actual woman that's, you know, being raped. And it's like, oh yeah, I get it, I get what you're doing here, film, but why are they recording this? Why are they doing any of this shit? It doesn't make any sense.
It made $200 million in box office.
I don't know. I think it's literally just like, this film has nothing, so they just made it controversial, and that's all that it has going. The only thing it has going for it is controversy. And like, even like nowadays, you know, the gore and stuff, like, there's a few bits of gore that's like, you know, like pretty fucked up and like pretty good, but like, it's only fucked up because it like just brutalizes women. Like, women in this film get fucked up, and it's disturbing on that level.
Do you not think it's like it's a commentary?
No, not at
None
all.
of it, no?
No, I don't think so at all.
I don't know, but I was just reading the Wikipedia article, and they're like, retrospectives have commented on its views on ethics in journalism and exploitation of women in developing countries.
Yeah, like that's like the whole thing.
That seems like
it is the journalism thing. Like, that's like, you know, the whole thing with the documentary. But they just beat you over the head with that. So like, they are constantly bringing it up, and the whole like you know, like the exploitation of women stuff. I don't know what the point is, because the film ends with the white woman being gang raped by like all the tribes people, and then the film like just like then the guy with the camera gets killed, and he doesn't do anything because he's just like shooting it. And I guess like, you know, the point is like, oh yeah, he's not gonna help his friend because, you know, the filmmaking's more important and stuff like that. But he gets killed, and then the whole thing, like, with the outside of like the found footage of like that narrative going on, the other narrative that's going on is that like these people are watching the film because they're like, they want to publish it, and they want to make it like an actual like feature length film. And one guy's like, no, this is really fucked up what went on, we can't show people this. And in the end, they decide to burn the film, and no one ever finds out what happened. So that these people that did all this really fucked up shit just go down as like heroes of America and like great documentarians, even though they did all this fucked up shit. And they've been constantly doing this fucked up shit. Like, that's cool, that's a cool message, yeah, I get it. But you just, like, that's it. And like, the way that you explain it is brain dead. It's so stupid. And I don't think there is something about like I don't know if there is really like this narrative, but like how women are portrayed and stuff like that, because no character ever talks about it whatsoever. And I think that like if the film did intend on doing something like that, it would have brought it up, because every other message in the film is directly talked about by the characters.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting flick. I probably won't watch it. I don't like that sort of stuff. But
No, I don't recommend it at all. Like I would tell you, if I had, because I've seen Martyrs, so I'm like, I can deal with hyper violence. I can get by that. I think Hostel is like, Hostel being like one of those films. Hostel is dog shit. Hostel is like on the same level for me as this film. But at least Hostel is like a little more subtle with its like story about like class, like the rich being able to do whatever they want. At least Hostel has that.
yeah, Jesus, I can't even hack Hostel.
Hostel's dog shit as well. I hate Hostel.
Someone needs to make a good exploitation movie where people get fucked up.
Martyrs.
Well, I
Martyrs
suppose Gaspering Away has done that. Yeah.
Yeah, Martyrs is good. The French can do it.
Martyrs. I can't watch Martyrs.
Martyrs is really fucked up. Martyrs is one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen. But that whole.
Yeah, see, I never watched that. I wouldn't watch that.
It had, but like Martyrs, like, the cool thing about Martyrs is like just the horror of the idea, because it's not trying to have a message, unlike these films. It doesn't try to have a message. It is what it is. It's the whole concept of like trying to bring someone as close to death as you can, so they can see beyond the other side. That idea is so fucked up that it like the film works because of that idea.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
Bataille and all that jazz.
I like Martyrs. I'd never ever watch it again, but I like Martyrs.
Yeah, no, I can't hack that stuff.
No,
Flaying.
fair.
Flaying. I'm not a fan of flaying.
Another like pretty violent film I've seen. This is part of my Halloween movie marathon. Hellraiser. Clive Barker's Hellraiser.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
No. Any good?
Yeah, it is pretty good. It's it's really gross. It's really gross, and
What happens? What's it about? I don't know what it's about. I know you have Pinhead in it. What's the premise?
So the premise is that this guy buys a box. It's a puzzle box, and he starts using the puzzle box, and hooks dig into his skin, and then it just like cuts whatever, and then it fades back in, and his body parts are like everywhere, and Pinhead is there, and Pinhead's arranging his face on the ground from all of his skin and stuff like that. It's really fucked up, and it's really gross, because like it's like they use like rubber prosthetics kind of, and it looks gross. It looks really cool though. And then so that guy's brother is moving into the house with his new wife, and his daughter, the dad in the family, his daughter is like kind of living nearby, and she's like kind of visiting to like help them move in and stuff like that. But we find out that the new wife was having an affair with the brother that like died at the start of the film, and she's up in the room where he had died, and the husband comes up and he's bleeding, and he bleeds onto the floor, and then a body starts to like generate out of the ground like when they leave, and it's the brother, and he's like slowly generating back to life, because the woman comes into the room and she sees him and she starts talking to him, and he's like, I'm Bob, and he's like a weird like fucked up like inside out man. He's like a skeleton with a bit of flesh on him, and he's got like eyes. He looks fucking gross. And she goes out and she just kills men and brings them back to the house and kills them, and he drains their blood. And that's kind of like the entire plot of Hellraiser for the most part, is just that like woman bringing men back to the house and killing them. Like it's it's a classic. It's all right though, I think. It's mostly just the special effects are really cool because they're really well done. But like it's not scary. It's gross and it's not scary. It's all right. It's a classic.
Yeah. Hey, what's it on?
Shudder.
Shudder. Oh, all right. So
I wouldn't really recommend it too strongly. Like it's fine. Like I think it's like a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Because it's not scary, but the special effects are cool, and the acting is whatever, and the characters are basically not there.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
the villain is just, he's just evil. He's just a dickhead for no reason.
Pinhead.
Well,
He's
Pinhead's not
just a
even the
pinhead.
villain. The
Oh, is
fucking
he not? Is
the
he not the villain, no?
reanimator man is the villain. Pinhead's barely in this film.
What is Pinhead?
He's like a BDSM demon. Like the whole thing as well. Well, there's a cool thing actually in the film about like pain and pleasure.
Mm.
And you know, the guy, the like Inside Out man, he's just like, oh yeah, these demons, whatever the fuck they're called. They're called something. I can't remember what they're called. But he's just like, oh, they showed me such amount of pain, but like it was so much pain that it was pleasure. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. Because the whole thing is like they're like based off BDSM dudes as well, I guess. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's alright. It's okay.
Yeah.
My dad really liked it.
Your dad liked it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that was a good film.
Yeah. When was that made? That was what, 90s, was it? It's one of those
80s,
semi
late 80s.
iconic. Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
late
like semi
80s.
iconic horror movies.
Yeah, I think it's just honestly, it's just the special effects that like, if the film didn't have like really good special effects, I think this film is fucking shite.
Yeah.
Because like it has like this thing, like the whole, well, to be fair, the whole like pain and pleasure thing and like dominatrix thing that goes on is pretty cool. But you know, it's not. That's all that it is, though. It's like mentioned. It's not like a huge plot point in the film. So you
Yeah.
kind of just, you know, it's just whatever.
It's just a horror movie.
Yeah, it's just a horror film. I watched like this really fucking boring Japanese film. Oh god, it was fucking painful. Onibaba, which is like seen as like a seminal piece in like Japanese horror. It's from the 60s. I was really looking forward to it. It's fucking boring as
Yeah.
fuck. It's so boring.
What's it called?
Onibaba. It's not like it's not even a horror. It's just not a horror film. Like, it's just not a horror film.
What's it about?
It's about these two women that like live in a hut, and they kill samurai to like take his. It's during the civil, like during the like wars in Japan, in like feudal Japan, and they kill samurai, and they sell this stuff to survive. And then one of their neighbors comes back from the war, and you find out that one of there's two women. One of them is a mom to this guy, and the other woman is that guy's fiance / wife, whatever. And their neighbor comes back, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, your son / husband is dead." And then he begins a relationship with the widow, and the mom doesn't like that because she's just gonna be left behind. And then another weird samurai dude shows up, and there's a hole that's really, really deep, and it's dark, and people fall into it, and it's just all right. Like, I just found it really boring. Just like, it's like a nearly 2 hour long film, and it's really fucking slow, and I thought it was really boring. Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff about, like, you know, the cultural horrors of like Japan, and you know, that like folk country horror in from a Japanese perspective, which I'm sure is really cool for a lot of people, but it didn't do anything for me. I just thought this film was boring.
Yeah.
And it's not like really well shot or anything. It's pretty bland, I think.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that, was right.
Onibaba. Where'd you watch that?
I downloaded it.
Alright. Yeah.
I just got it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a clever way to like say that I downloaded this thing from Pirate Bay, but I couldn't.
You stole this film.
I stole this film. In this economy, I stole this film.
In this economy. I watched, you know, The Other Lamb. Seen that on movie?
No.
It's like this folk horror movie. I watched that on movie as well.
What's it about?
It's new. It's about like this cult that live out in the woods, and it's run by one guy, and he has a big team of wives, and then he has a team of daughters, and he basically has sex with all of them. So it's just about this cult.
Nice.
And all the women.
Nice.
Oh, nice one, bro. So all the women are like waiting on him hand and foot, and it's about like trauma, I suppose, and like abuse. It's really well shot, and the acting's really good in it. And it's actually shot in Ireland as well, which really stood out to me. Yeah.
Wait, I think
It's on Mubi. I got an email about it, so I was like, it sounded really good. Folk horror. I'm always in for folk horror.
I think Isabel knows someone that was in this film.
Really, yeah, because it's shot in Wicklow. So
Yeah. Yeah. Isabel knows someone that's in this film.
they get found out by, or no, the leader of the cult is like, it's like a Jonestown kind of thing. He's like, they're going to find out about it. We have to leave now, because they have this really nice setup in the woods at first. So I was like, we have to leave. And so they go on this like really long trek through like this moor. It's like a wasteland sort of thing. And he's like, one of them is pregnant and she gives birth along the way. And he tries to abandon the child because the child is a male. And he doesn't want any other men, and even if it's a baby, in the cult. But they end up, they reach the promised land. It's basically, he's like, this is Eden. This is where we'll make our home. And it's just Sally Gap, you know, like the fjord down in Sally Gap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just that. I was like, what? I was like, this is gas. It's like so cool to see that. And he's like, this is the Garden of Eden. I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's where I got my dog. You
I'm
know.
definitely gonna watch that film because, like, you know, like it's
Yeah.
because again, you know, it's an Irish film, and you know, Isabel knows people in it, and like, you know, might recognize some of the places in it. That's cool. Is it good though?
Yeah, it's not great, but it's pretty good. It's worth a watch anyway. It's like, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's like, has sort of witch vibes.
I'm all about the witch. I'm all about the witch vibes.
The Witch, like Midsummer. It's like not as good as Midsummer, but I'd say it's like similar-ish. It's maybe like a tier below it, you know. The last scene is at Powers Court waterfalls as well, which is pretty funny. it's just the waterfalls in the background. It's just like, it's a really serious scene. It's just like, this is so cool. It's just funny to see. Because we never see any of that sort of stuff, like our actual surroundings on film.
You never get that, like, oh shit, yeah, I know that spot or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the towers in the back. Like, oh, this is shot in the Sugar Loaf or whatever. Oh, that's O'Connell Street. It's like, you know the way you'd read Joyce, and he like, it's like surprising to see like Stevens Green mentioned, or he'll like talk about
it's
Brogans
just
or
like,
whatever.
he's just like going like, oh yeah, going down like North Strand and stuff like that. Like, what the fuck?
You're just not used to it at all.
No. Yeah, no, it is so weird. It's so fucking weird, like reading stuff like that, or like even watching stuff like that. Which, like, you know, I think that's just like, you know, because we don't get that. That's why I liked like watching like fucking Love Hate, and I was like, oh shit, it's like that's only just shot like down the road or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you know, Americans probably get that a little bit more. But again, America's so huge that like,
Yeah, they're spoiled. They're spoiled.
Yeah, they're spoiled for choice there.
Yeah, fuck them. Nah, I love them. But it's cool to see a bit of representation with the lads in The Other Lamb. And it's a pretty good movie, and it has like a real girl power theme. You know. And yeah.
You recommend?
I would give it a recommend. I even rated it on Mubi, and I wrote a little review just in case anyone
really?
wants. Yeah. Well, just like, this is a good film. A lot like The Witch, and that was basically it.
I'll read it. I'll check out your review. Mark, talking about girl power just reminded me of another film that I watched on Halloween.
What'd you watch?
And that is Jennifer's Body.
Oh, how's that?
That's the best film I watched on Halloween. And I watched the Invisible Man, the 2020 film as well.
Yeah.
That's you know, it's pretty good. I don't really have much to say. It's just pretty good. It's good. You know, I think the suit in it is really cool. Some of the scares are cool. Stuff about, you know, trauma. It's pretty cool.
Is that on Netflix?
It's on Now TV. But yeah, like that's, you know, I don't really have much to say about Invisible Man. But Jennifer's Body, on the other hand, oh my god, I think this is like an underrated, like neat, like, you know, kind of like, I don't want to say masterpiece, but you know, it's a really good film. It's a really underrated film. Because it does that. You know that thing where, like, especially now, where like some films with their like all female cast and stuff like that kind of beat the message over the head with, you know, girl power and stuff like that or whatever.
Yeah.
Jennifer's Body has that, but makes it work in a really, really interesting way. This film was fucking hated when it came out, and I think like when this film came out, it came out in 2009. So, you know, I was 10 and you were 11, and this film was marketed for like us.
For the
It was
lads.
marketed for like 10 to 13, even though you're not old enough to go see this film, because it's Megan Fox just after Transformers, and you know what? She might kiss a girl in the film, and you know what? There might be some boobs. There's no boobs in this film whatsoever. She kisses a girl, but there's no boobs.
Fuck's sake.
And people hated the film because of that. Because it's not a horror either. It's a fucking, I mean, it's kind of a horror, but it's more like a comedy film, and it's more of like a weird version of like Clueless and stuff like that. And like what's that film called with Lindsay Lohan? Mean Girls. It's kind of like Mean Girls as well. It has like that kind of like high school vibe to it, but one of the girls is eating the guys.
Is she an incubus?
She is indeed a succubus.
Succubus, alright.
She's a succubus, and the way that they like do that is really, really is really cool, because when you're watching the film, you're just like, why why would you, if the roles were reversed, and if this was a girl that would just randomly walk into the woods with the fella, she wouldn't fucking do it. She wouldn't willingly walk into the woods with them. But because the men in this film do not see Megan Fox as a threat, they go along with it, and they don't think they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna get my hole, it's gonna be fine, and then they get eaten because of it, because they don't see women as a threat, because we as men don't see women as a threat.
Yeah.
And it's that cool like reversal of the roles of horror, and even to the point
like
where
in Trick or Treat, like.
Yeah, like Trick or Treat. Yeah, it's like it is that reversal. But this film came out after Trick or Treat, I think. But it does it really, really well, especially because it's Megan Fox. And I saw a clip of the writer of this film. The writer of this film is Juno, by the way. And
was it Diablo Cody?
Yeah, yes. Diablo seems to. Yeah, I think that's her name.
What a name.
Yeah, but I might post this on the Twitter, but there was a clip that I saw of Diablo talking to Megan Fox and talking about how the film is being marketed, right? Because the film was marketed as like, horror with fucking Megan Fox kissing girls, boobs, lesbians. You young guys, you're gonna love this, and the film is fucking hated because this film is not that at all. And Diablo tried to explain to the studio, saying like, oh, the film's not like that. Like the film has it's about this. It's about reversing gender roles. It's about critiquing horror cliches and stuff like that. It's about all these different things. And the guy, like whoever he was, just replied back, yeah, but Megan Fox is hot. And
he has a point.
The
marketing material.
My man.
Yeah, it must have betrayed the movie.
No, right? When Megan, in the clip, when Megan Fox hears that, she's on the verge of tears, and it is fucking heartbreaking, because what Hollywood did to her was so fucked up. And
what?
Watching this film and finding out about what Michael Bay did to fucking Megan Fox's career, making her that hot girl in every film, because Megan Fox is really good in this film. She's genuine. I don't know if Megan Fox should be do much as in terms of acting. I don't know if she'd be very good, but in this film she's really, really good. And she was just reduced to the hot girl, and she was hypersexualized, and when she didn't want to do that anymore, Hollywood threw her under the bus, and she never did anything again. She hasn't been in anything major since Transformers.
Yeah.
And she did fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but who the fuck went and saw that? Who saw those films?
That was great.
And it's it is genuinely upsetting seeing Megan Fox's face when she is told that the reason why this film was mismarketed is because you're
too attractive, Megan. I'm sorry, you can't be an actress.
And she's and because obviously she knew what the film was about, and she knew what the whole artistic merit of the film was. And the studio just completely ignored it because they're like, oh yeah, but Megan Fox, boobies, so yeah, let's do this.
She's got boobs, bro. I have to put that on the poster.
it like watching this film makes me fucking hate Michael Bay even more. Not only does he have shit films,
Wait, why are you blaming Michael Bay?
because Michael Bay is like one of the main reasons why that happened to Megan Fox. He like, I'm pretty sure I read something that like he had her do an audition tape by like doing like a wet t-shirt contest or something like that for like fucking Transformers. Like, I know that's funny, but it's something along. It's genuinely something along the lines.
That's hilarious.
Of some ridiculous level of that. Like, Megan Fox is only in those films to be sexualized and to be marketed to, 13, 14-year-old guys. And when she didn't want to do that anymore, it's like, well, you don't get to be in movies anymore, Megan, because you're the hot girl, and that's all you're ever gonna be. And it's just so fucked up that they did that to her.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people get typecast,
Yeah, but
it's interesting that
typecasting to like an exploitative way.
Yeah, well, most women get that, I think, in films, but it's interesting that she did this movie, which is obviously like almost calling that out, like explicitly. Like, she's a good example of that. And then she made a movie which critiques that, and I had to turn back on her. Like, that's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, and people were like, "This is shit. Where's all the boobs, bro?"
It's really, really good. I think this film, like, retroactively would be looked upon like with a kinder viewing, because
I didn't think it was hated. I thought it was like middling reviews.
Oh man,
I remember when it came out.
It's not light. I think it's hated. At the time, it was hated.
Yeah, sure. It came out around Avatar, wasn't it? And it got fucked.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the advertisements of the film and thinking that the film was that it was like lesbians, boobs, and blood.
Yeah.
And then watching it, I'm like, oh my god, it's not that whatsoever.
Remember that film, Lesbian Vampire Hunters? Or Lesbian Vampire Killers?
I was literally just thinking about that film.
And James Corden, the biggest fucking, ugly virgin, is the hero in it or whatever. I've never seen that movie, but like,
I'm sure that film is fucking dog shit.
I guarantee you that film is awful, unwatchable. But that seems like the type of movie that maybe they wanted Jennifer's body to be,
But it was written and directed by a woman, so it was never going to be that.
Yeah, plus there's no James Corden in it.
And like, the way like in those type of films as well, like like the female empowerment films, like Ghostbusters, stuff like that. Like, the guy is like genuinely seen as like a fucking like piece of shit or like a moron. The main dude in this, he's so fucking sound. He's just a nice, genuinely nice guy, and he's like really sound to oh god, what is the actor? What is her name?
Amanda Seyfried.
Yes, thank you. He plays her boyfriend. He's just a good boyfriend. He's just a good boyfriend, and that's all there is to it. And the guys that die, it's not like they're like pieces of shit or anything. They're just like sound. They're just mates with people, and they just die. Because like, okay, so the way that like Jennifer turns into a demon is that she lies about being a virgin to this like satanic indie band. And the whole thing, it's really funny because the guys are like about to sacrifice her to Satan, and are just like, do you know how hard it is being an indie band? There's so many of us. There's no way of breaking out, so we had to turn to the Dark Lord. They're gonna sacrifice her, and she's lying about being a virgin. So it's the whole thing, like, the virgin dies last. But if Jennifer had told the truth and said that she wasn't a virgin, they wouldn't have sacrificed her. So having sex saves your life in this film, basically, but also kills you because Jennifer is using sex as a way to lower men into like an isolated place, and then she just eats them.
Yeah, Jesus, that's definitely a fetish.
It's it has a cool reading, I think, of those horror tropes.
Yeah,
and I liked it. I think it's my favorite film that I watched on Halloween.
Oh, really? How many films did you watch on Halloween?
I watched 4.
4? That's intense. That's a marathon.
Man, I wanted to watch more, but Onibaba nearly sent me to sleep, and I nearly sent me to sleep, so I could. I watched Jennifer's Body afterwards, and then I was like, oh, I can't do it anymore because I'm just fucking knackered after watching Onibaba. Onibaba's not even 2 hours long. It took me nearly 3 hours to watch the fucking thing.
Fuck that. Those movies, not worth it.
It's not worth it. Once that happening, it's not worth it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that all I watched? Yeah, that's all I watched. There was 5 films. I watched or 6 films. I watched fucking loads this week.
Yeah. I watched 3, which isn't bad to be fair.
No.
But
oh man, that's like
I
normal.
don't remember them all. Yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah, that's a normal person's intake, you know.
Man, that's all I do during Halloween now. I just watch films. I never go out during Halloween. I fucking hate it. I hate Halloween.
Why? I like Halloween. I don't go out during Halloween though, but I like it.
Love
the
no,
vibes.
I guess I like Halloween a lot more now because I don't go out. I little insight into what Owen does on a general, like a normal year where there's no COVID. I work as an elf I work as an elf for Santa. That. So for a month for December, I dress up as an elf, and I fucking hate dressing up any other time because that's part of my job during December. And of course, it's not going on this year. And I also do it during Halloween, and I have to dress up for 3 days and stand out in the cold, giving kids fucking sweets and shit. And you know, I just don't like dressing up because it's part of it's. I associate dressing up as with work now, so
it's a really, really disturbing backstory there.
Yeah, it's a dark backstory to Owen.
It's all in the flashback in the movie. Why don't you dress up, Owen? It's like, I don't want to talk about it.
It's getting Nam flashbacks.
Yeah. Back to the fawn or whatever.
Oh man, work. What a foreign concept.
Yeah, working. No, not for me. Hard to work, I can tell you that.
I'm pretty fucking used to just not doing anything.
Yeah, this is a utopian life would be, you know. This is
socialism. This is what
in action.
Communism wants.
This is what Karl Marx envisioned. This is what he wanted. This is perfect society. People sitting at home, don't talk to each other, just watch movies all day. It's there in the manifesto. That's one of the main objectives that they.
I'm pretty sure it's like the 4th or 5th point marker.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He's like, I want people at home watching films on their laptop. That's a direct quote from the Communist Manifesto, written 1890 whatever.
Yeah, we need more Netflix binges and to expropriate the means of production. That was all tacked on at the end. It was mainly about the marathons.
It was one of the footnotes.
He just wanted to watch movies.
Were movies even a thing when Karl Marx is around? No, they weren't.
Nah, but he was a visionary. He knew that it was going to happen.
He's like, let me tell you guys, Gaspar Noé, he's going to make a fucked up film in 150 years' time. So we move on to some listener questions. Do you want to plug the everything considering the last 2 times I've done it, I have mispronounced things.
Yeah, you can get to us or follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @paro_pod. Ask us questions, feedback, life advice, stuff like that. You can also get to us at theparopod@gmail.com if you so wish. Is there another thing?
No, that's it, man.
That's it.
I don't think we're ever gonna get an email.
No, I doubt it. But you know, just in case someone finds us years down the line, and they're wondering, how do I get to these guys?
Yeah, hopefully
after Twitter and Instagram have been closed down.
But anyway, onto the listener questions. Our first question comes in from Noah, and
good man, Noah.
And he asks thoughts on remakes of good and or bad films. What's your opinion on this topic?
I'm anti-remake, but I think we need to distinguish between a remake of a story, like something like Frozen. Think of Frozen, which is technically a remake in the sense that it's an adaptation of a story that already existed. And you have stuff like that with like The Thing, or you know, all those like classic movies that are like The Fly that are actually remakes. But they're not remaking they're like, it's like a new take on the story. Yeah,
like The Invisible Man, like Invisible Man, that like 2020's Invisible Man it's a remake.
Yeah, an original take on it.
It's a new way of going about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have Disney remakes like The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast,
which are shite,
and like you can keep going on, which are all shit.
They're all shit
exclusively. Like none of them are good. None of them are good, and never will be good because they're not trying to tell a story. They're just trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And the easiest way to make money is to recreate something that made money before, and that's all they are.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. There's nothing to them. They're just complete piles of shite and no one should ever watch them or give any cent towards Disney or any company that tries that.
No, they shouldn't. These films should just be ignored. When they come out, just don't see them. Don't watch them.
Yeah, actively campaign against them if you can.
With your wallet. Yeah, I think like, you know, that's when remakes are bad. And like, you know, like remakes like the Halloween remake and the Friday the 13th remake and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Oh, they're all shite as well. They're all bad as well.
Oh, the Halloween remake was
No,
okay.
like the Rob Zombie one.
Actually, no, yeah.
Rob Zombie one.
Oh, okay.
Like that's...
Yeah, actually, I forgot the other one isn't even a remake.
Like they're shite. Like I don't like they're always gonna be bad. Like they're never gonna be as good as the original ones. And like Friday the 13th one, I don't even know why they the reason why they remade it was because, like, you know, it's Friday the 13th. It's a major franchise. The original Friday the 13th, and I'm pretty sure most of them are all fucking shite films. None of them are good. And in that case, like maybe you can fucking remake it and make it really good, but the Friday the 13th remake isn't trying to improve on it or anything. It's just trying to be like the remake of Friday the 13th so they can make money.
Yeah, it's just trying to accentuate whatever random parts made money out of the original, even though the original isn't
Not good.
Like, it's not a good horror movie.
But like that's where, like, you know, like the Fly remake, as you said, and like The Thing, like they're remakes of like films that aren't very good. But, you know, probably I imagine that the original ones are actually a bit shit, but they remake them and they make them really fucking good because there's something there. I think, like, you know, if like something didn't work the first time, maybe remake it and reimagining it and getting the core good idea out of it and remaking it and packaging it into something better, as opposed to, you know, the remake of Psycho, which is just a shot for shot remake of the original film. And it's completely pointless. That film should not exist. That's a waste of resources.
Even you get point to, like, you know, Elephant, like that's an understandable reason to remake a movie.
Yeah, like the concept of it is good.
A new it's using the concept but putting it in a new context and using it in different ways. A new commentary. It's a new story altogether, you know. Well, what would you think? Do you know? Would you think any films off the top of your head that you'd want to remake? Or that would be worthy of a remake?
Maybe things that didn't really work the first time. Like I haven't seen it, but from what you're saying, I think like if they remade fucking, now, not saying that Peeping Tom is a bad film, but if they remade it, you could throw in a few actors, get the original one, you know, that bit of hype back behind it, and, you know, you got a good fucking director behind it. You could do something really fucking cool with that film. But they'd also probably remake it and have it like the fucking camera being your phone and that being the fucking whole thing. It's like, oh, it's your phone, it's social media. They probably do that shit. But like,
it's Twitter, man. You know, it'd definitely be Ryan Gosling in the star.
100%. Yeah. That's like something that just off the like top of my head. Like I don't know, like because you know I'm not gonna watch like a film. Halloween 3. There you go. Halloween 3 could be done actually. If they remade that could be done really well. Like
it could be justified.
And the tone could be set properly, and the characters could be rewritten and stuff like that. But that core idea of the film could still be there, like this Irish cult. That could be really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
I don't know. I don't know any really. Yeah, I actually don't know. You could try Napoleon. You know. You don't even have to tell the story of Napoleon, I suppose, but you could tell like a broader story, just something historical, but try to make it, because it's not about the story, it's about like the experience with that film. So if you're trying to make a film that like calls out to the audience and tries to get the audience involved, you know, something like that, like where you're tackling with the substance of the film and the ideas rather than just the story and the like the sort of the cultural markers that have sort of lived on. It's just like Disney just resurrect movies that don't need to be resurrected. Like there's just zombie movies. Like there's no need to have another Lion King or anything like that. Like those are good movies. There's no need to remake them. Yeah,
I think like when a film's already good, there is no point remaking it. Like there's no point remaking The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. That's never gonna be as good as the original. There's no point. Really, I know people fucking love it, but there's no real point remaking Dawn of the Dead because the original one is so good. Now maybe the core concept can be redone, But in that case, just don't call it Dawn of the Dead. Just have them in a fucking shopping mall. You don't need to call it Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you call it Left 4 Dead. That's a video game series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
the video game.
yeah.
Adapt the video game.
Like that's like
But,
when the original film is good, there is no point remaking it because it's never. I kind of because is there any case of that? I know, like, I'm sure, like, there's a lot of people like, oh yeah, Dawn of the Dead is the case of that, which, yeah, you know, arguably, yeah, whatever. But I think that, you know, the original one is way better. But is there any? Do you know any of those cases where like the remake, the original film and the remake are both really, really good?
I've never seen the original thing, but apparently the thing from the 1950s is actually really good as well.
It's in
They
Halloween.
remade that.
It's in Halloween.
Yeah. So they remade that even though they knew it was already good, and it bombed. Like the remake bombed straight away when it was released.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so they sort of paid for it.
Yeah.
You know? So people were probably like, "Oh, this is shit compared to the old thing," but there's no like.
And now it's like the
there's
reverse.
like-
Now no one watches the
Yeah.
original the thing.
Yeah, there's almost been like a temptation to say like maybe the same thing will happen with the remakes we get today, but like I can guarantee you that will not happen. No one in like 50 years time is gonna be like, oh, I love the Lion King, you know.
Yeah, no,
fucking-
no
They're not
one's
gonna be
doing
thinking
that.
of fucking Darth Vader and Beyonce voice and Mufasa and all that stuff. They're gonna be thinking like the actual Lion King.
Yeah,
or,
because that's so film
you
so
know.
good. That film's so
yeah.
so
It was only
classic.
20. It wasn't even. It's 20 years ago.
Yeah,
You know.
it's not even that old. It's not
Yeah.
even that old. And like Aladdin and shit like that, and fucking Dumbo, and fucking
Dumbo. Why did
Lady
they
and the
remake
Tramp
Dumbo?
and stuff like that. Like, why are you remaking these
Yeah,
films?
they remade that as well. What?
Why? And Mulan,
Madness.
Mulan fucking bombed. I'm fucking glad that film bombed.
Yeah, that's gas. Fuck that.
That film cost them a fortune, and they got like 200,000 back or something ludicrous like that.
Trying to charge people 30 quid to watch a film that was already on Disney Plus, but you can watch a different version of it for 30 quid. No one's gonna like.
Yeah, the original was already on Disney Plus, and it's gonna be way better.
Yeah, exactly. Load of bollocks. Disney should just be closed down, broken up. They need to come in, do a little. What was that thing called? You know, the mandate they had in the 50s where they broke up the studios, or was it the 40s? I can't.
Oh yeah, like the studio systems.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
need to break up Disney, turn it into about 10 different companies. They're way too big, and they're too big for their boots, and they can afford to remake. They can afford to just keep remaking the same properties again and again and again, and extending the copyright to all of them, so they retain exclusive ownership over these ideas. They're basically just money printers, and that's all it is. It's basically like a money laundering system at the moment.
Yeah,
It's morally, creatively bankrupt.
Mickey Mouse, fuck that little weasel fuck. Do you want to go with Liam's question? Speaking of actual remakes, we can actually talk about Carrie with this one.
Very
But go on.
true.
So Liam's hot take,
Oh,
our
yeah.
our
Actually,
new introduced,
I'll read this.
our new introduced section from that I started last week because we're sick of questions and I wanted to respond to
We're
these
s-
boiling hot
We're
opinions.
sick of questions.
Yeah,
Stop
12
sending
episodes
questions.
in. No, there has not been one good question.
I'm so disappointed in all you guys. Liam
I love your
says-
questions. Send them all in.
Liam's hot take is Carrie is shite and De Palma should lose his legend status because of it. What do you think?
I haven't seen Carrie, but I like seeing clips of it. It doesn't look very good anyway. So
The original.
yeah, the original.
The original,
With
Yeah.
what's her name? Susie Patrick or
Sissy
something. What's
Spacek.
her name? Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's close.
Yeah, she's like this weird looking girl. She's a really good Carrie though. I thought the original Carrie was pretty good. I don't remember it that well though. I think it was on Netflix back when Netflix first started up, and I watched it there. So I wouldn't. That would be like what? I wouldn't say 10, like 8, 9 years ago. Ages ago now.
Basically 10 years ago, man.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Can't remember much about it. I remember I loved the book, and I watched the movie nearly straight away afterwards. And I thought the movie was a good adaptation.
Adaptation.
Yeah, it was a good version of it. I don't know if it can ruin Brian De Palma's reputation. I don't know much about him, to be honest.
Do you know what films he's directed?
No, not offhand. No, I know he's
He
done
did
quite
Scarface and he did The Untouchables.
a few. The Untouchable, Scarface. See, Scarface is one of those movies like I don't understand why it's so big. Like, Like I'd almost prefer, based on my perception of Carrie right now, I'd almost prefer Carrie as like a. That sounds retarded, but like, Scarface seems a bit overhyped to me. Whereas Carrie's just like a movie. It's just like it's just there. It's not like a classic or anything, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think I don't know, maybe it's just like the masculine character of Scarface is what fucking made it into like a classic. Because he is like one of those like iconic characters.
Tony Montana.
You know, I don't. Yeah, I
At it
haven't
again.
seen it, so I don't know. But like, it seems to be that 'cause,
Another
like,
remake as well. Scarface.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah. But you know, I haven't seen the original Carrie. I've seen The Untouchables, and yeah, you know, like The Untouchables is like regarded as like one of the best films. Like I'm pretty sure it's like seen as like, you know, one of the best gangster films as of all time. You know, Sean Connery,
I've never actually seen it.
R.I.P. getting the Oscar in that film. It's really good,
Mm.
and he's really good in it. But you know, it's like, you know, it's whatever. It's kind of, you know,
Do you ever see
it's
the
decent.
ever see the new Carrie?
Oh, with your one
Chloe Moretz.
that was in Kick. Yeah, she's way too attractive to be Carrie, because like the whole thing in Carrie is like, you know, she gets bullied or whatever.
She's
But
ugly. Yeah.
no one's gonna bully fucking like whatever. What's her name? Chloe.
Chloe Moretz. Yeah. But
No one's gonna bully her.
Yeah, but that movie still managed to be absolutely terrible. Like, there's nothing good about that movie. That movie is rubbish. Like,
I've seen the car crash at the end with the 3D, and it looks like fucking ass. It looks
yeah,
awful.
It's grim. It was grim at the time. It's still grim.
It looks
Mm.
terrible. I'm never gonna watch
Yeah.
that film. Never gonna watch that film.
It's one of those pointless remakes.
It is. That
Yeah.
is a pointless remake, because like, but there's one in between. You know, there's a Carrie in between those where they remade it and it was like a TV film or whatever.
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Actually, you know what? Actually, going back to that remake question, I think it deserves a better remake than what we got.
Yeah.
Again, Stephen King. So, you know, man,
Yeah,
Stephen
it could
King's
definitely
weird.
Expanded upon. Stephen King is weird. Yeah, he's not. I feel like out of his books, Salem's Lot is one that I'd want to be adapted. Actually, no, Salem's Lot actually is one that I think deserves a remake, because that was a TV series. That was like it.
Mm.
I had a TV series back in the 80s, and it's pretty scary, but like you could make a movie about it today that could be like 10 times better.
Really, really
you know?
good.
Really, really good. Have you ever read Salem's Lot?
No, I never. I don't think the Stephen King I've ever read is it.
Yeah.
And
I used to be mad into it.
oh man, I read it, and immediately I was like, I regret reading 1,000 pages of that. That was just that was the most fine book. It's just a terrible
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah, most of his books are just good.
I think
No,
it's because he
unless-
writes like one a year or some shit like that. He just writes so much.
He writes too much. He hasn't written a single decent word since he got hit by that van in the 90s. That van ruined his career. But The Shining is also like one that didn't need to be remade. Remember, he remade that. Stephen King himself directed it, I think.
Yes, I was gonna
In the
say that.
90s,
Have you
yeah.
ever seen it?
No, I guarantee it's awful. I guarantee it.
Man, it is. I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it. It is fucking awful. There's no tension. There's no way you could build tension out of like how that film looks and how it's shot and how attractive that those people are. And like, you know the way that like in The Shining, like the Stanley Kubrick Shining, like the hotel and the ghosts, they never, you know, attack. What the fuck are they? Jack Torrance and like his wife. What the fuck is his wife called?
I don't know.
Whatever his wife's called. Like they never attack the people in the hotel. It's always, you know, manipulating them, specifically manipulating Jack to like, you know, kill his family or whatever. In the fucking like in the Stephen King remake, the fucking like chair like body checks a girl when she's like running by or whatever, and like a plate like flies into her face, and like the ghosts are like just fucking her up, and it's not scary whatsoever.
Yeah, he's no perception of subtlety at all. Everything he does is just like being hit over the head with it, you know. Like I think like the reason he's put out some really good work, but I think it's because of the volume, like you say. Like he's written so much. It's like that thing.
Yeah,
where,
some of it has to be good.
yeah, some of us. It's like 1,000 monkeys sitting at 1,000 typewriters. Eventually, you're gonna get something decent. Like that's basically what he did, or what he's always done for the last 50 years. Sat down. He's written 1,000 words a day for the last 50 years. So he's gonna come up with something decent, and he has. But like the rest of it is just irredeemable. I think his instincts are all off as well. Like he doesn't have great instincts as an artist. You know.
Especially like fucking like the second half. Like once you get like when you're reading it, once they're not kids anymore, it's fucking shite. It's not scary. It's just bad. It's just bad. And
he puts himself in every single one. Like every protagonist is just Stephen King. Even in
like
It.
Misery is. I don't know if Misery, the film of Misery, is really good, but he hates Stanley Kubrick's Shining. He thinks it's a terrible film, and it's just like that film is better horror than anything you've probably written.
Yeah, like he wrote, or Carrie came out as a book in '76, and then The Shining is what, 1980. Like within 4 years of him like throwing his first draft in the bin, being like an unemployed teacher, barely a penny to his name. 4 years later, Stanley Kubrick has just directed his third bestseller, and it's like it was like it was too much too fast.
He hates
it. He's been spoiled. He's like, oh, it's shit. It's like, no, you're shit, man. Like you just got really, really lucky, and one of the greatest directors of all time directed one of your better books. It's like you should be grateful.
One of the greatest films of all time from your book.
Man.
But yeah, De Palma, I don't even know because like does De Palma like have a legend status? I don't know because I only know that Scarface and The Untouchables and everything else. I went to his IMDb. I don't recognize any other film from his catalog.
Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, Mission Impossible. Yeah, actually, yeah. Sorry.
He's a part of that whole thing with like New Hollywood, like Scorsese and Spielberg and Coppola. Like they were all mates.
Oh, is he? Didn't know that.
Like they were all swapping scripts and stuff back in the day.
Yeah, but Scorsese, Coppola,
different league,
just a different ballpark. I don't know. Carrie, Liam, Carrie's not shy, and De Palma doesn't have a legendary status. So there you go.
Oh, hot take.
And then our last hot take comes in from Connor. Shout out to Connor Scully.
Shout out.
Another great question from Connor, actually. Well, this is a hot take, but he's saying the hype around Avatar, the James Cameron film, was a fluke and can never be repeated. Specifically, it can't be repeated by a new film without it being a sequel or a franchise. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. Especially because I think it was Fox that released that. That was a Fox production, wasn't it? Avatar.
I'm not. Yeah, sure.
If any studio could do it now, it'd be Disney. I'm pretty sure Disney could. Well, Disney did do that with Endgame.
But that's part of a franchise.
Yeah, it's very true.
That's what he's saying. Like a standalone film, because Avatar is a standalone thing, and I think it was the biggest. Like it had was the biggest grossing film of all time, wasn't it? Until Endgame.
It is, yeah, or it was, yeah. Yeah, they literally re-released Endgame just to get ahead of Avatar. Sad, absolutely sad. But
which it is a bit of, I don't know, is it a fluke or is it just like genius marketing? I don't know.
Who? For Cameron. Well, Cameron did it twice in a row. For Cameron. Is that a fluke? Like Titanic and then Avatar.
Is it just the special effects that did that? Or
yeah, it was special effects. It? Well, he had it was in 3D, and then everything was CGI and it was realistic. And then even it was shot with two cameras. It was stereoscopic panorama vision or something like that. It was even the way it was shot was completely different the way action movies are usually shot. The tech he used to make that movie was really ahead of his time and really cutting edge, and that's why people went to see it. People went to see. I went to see that twice. Avatar. People went to see it. Oh
yeah, I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah.
I remember coming out of the cinema. My whole family were like, "Yeah, look great, but the actual film is just alright."
Yeah. Yeah,
and it is just alright. It's not. It hasn't.
Well, it's not about the story. It's about something else. It's like a Napoleon-esque kind of thing. It's about the spectacle of it.
It is this is a film of the spectacle, 100%. And it's 3 hours long as well, isn't it? Or 2.5 hours. Yeah. It's a long film.
It's the most expensive movie ever made as well. It's
and you have all these taglines thrown onto it and stuff like that. It's inevitably going to draw an audience. I don't know if it's a fluke. I think it could happen again, but the question is is anyone gonna put any money into that? Is anyone gonna chance doing that shit again? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
not with the current studio system. Disney would never attempt that. Never attempt that.
No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna put money, like a huge amount of money, into a film like that if they're not guaranteed to make money back. Even if it is James Cameron or whoever, like they're not. They're not gonna be willing to do that. They're not gonna take the chance.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely happen again, but the way it will happen and the movie that it will be something that will like change cinema forever. And something we probably can't even imagine really. Or it'll be like a completely different type of cinema than what we conceive of it as like right now, you know. Like the same way someone in the 80s wouldn't imagine Avatar grossing $3 billion, you know? Whereas like...
Yeah, ludicrous.
Well, that's what...
Just ludicrous.
30 years from now, you can't imagine, you know, a film in 2050. I don't know. What's it going to be about? Make, I don't know, $10 billion, you know?
Man, even imagine what a film in 10 years is going to be like. What the fuck does a film in 10 years look like?
It's probably going to look like Disney or whatever. But like, I think once Disney gets out of the way, things are going to change. That's the thing. That's the main stumbling block. Institutions. The institutions have crystallized, and cinema is like way more like conservative now than it ever has been for a while. I think.
Yeah, it's way too safe.
They're playing it safe. They got to go for the home run.
Yeah, like even like you know, like the likes of, like Christopher Nolan and stuff like that. You know, he gets to take chances and whatever, but just because he's like established. But like he's not taking the most expensive film of all time. He's not making that like
yeah. He probably
and doing like
he probably could. I think if anyone could do it, maybe he could do it. But like he could sort of chance his arm. But I don't think it'd become. I don't think it would make $3 billion.
I don't think so either, and I don't think it's gonna get any type of hype like that. Like especially after fucking after you know Dunkirk and Tenet. I don't think he's gonna get the audience like that. I don't think so. I don't think that could happen with him.
He's the only one though. He's the
only one.
No other director that could have that sort of.
His previous track record is not very good, so I don't think he could do it.
Well, he has The Dark Knight and all that stuff. People love that.
It was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was before Avatar.
It was before Avatar. But then again, what did James Cameron? Well, then again, like you know, fucking. I was gonna say then again, but he did make Titanic, which was, you know, how many Oscars did it win? 11. It's like one of the films that made like 11 Oscars. It was huge. It was in cinemas for like a full year because people kept going to go see it.
What do you mean?
That film was in cinemas for like a year or something like that.
No,
it was like in cinemas for ages. But like what I'm saying is like, you know, what did James Cameron make in between, you know, making Titanic and Avatar? And I don't know if there was
He
really
didn't make
anything.
Yeah, Avatar was his follow up to Titanic, which doesn't make any sense. But I think that maybe that was part of the reason why it was so popular as well.
The return of Cameron.
Yeah.
Fucking
Titanic
big screen.
2 on Pandora. And now the new Avatar is going to be released, 14 years after the first one. Just incredible. Like, that's going to make... Like, imagine that goes and makes, like, $5 billion.
Is that a real film?
Well, Avatar 2...
Does that actually exist?
Avatar 2, 3, and 4 have already been shot.
I heard that 10 years ago.
They've already been shot. Ask him. Ask him yourself.
Man, if Avatar 2 actually does come out, I will be amazed. I'm convinced that film doesn't exist.
It's coming out in 2 years. It's already been shot. It's there. James Cameron, what's he been doing for the past, 11 years? You know, without...
What does Avatar 2 look like?
This one's shot underwater. So that's the gimmick this time. It's shot underwater on Pandora.
What do you mean? It's shot underwater.
It's shot underwater.
Is that? It's just a film that's shot on... Is that the gimmick?
That's the gimmick, yeah. It's shot underwater.
What does that mean? What does that add to a film?
I don't know. Ask him. Ask him. I don't know. I don't know the details. But it's shot underwater anyway. And that's his thing. It's like, we're shooting underwater this time. It's pretty groundbreaking. That's gonna be in 4D.
Loves water.
It's going to be in Shrek 4D.
You're going to smell the water.
Yeah.
You're going to drown when you go to see this film.
You're going to have to smell the Navi's dreadlocks.
You're gonna have to learn to swim to go see this film. But even if like, I don't think we would get something like that because like, you know, it has to be a fucking franchise. Like for the only film that could break that Avatar's record is a film that is like the final chapter in a franchise that's been going on for 12 years or like fucking 11 years, whatever, with multiple films backing it up.
Yeah, and with about $1 billion in marketing.
And even at that, they had to fucking
release it twice.
And the cast that they have, like fucking Avatar had
Nobody.
like nobody. It had Sigourney Weaver. That's
yeah,
it.
Zoe Saldana. Like, that's it.
And your man, but he's not in anything anymore. What the fuck is his name?
Who?
He's in Clash of the Titans as well. What's his name?
That was his.
The main
That was
guy.
his first film.
Yeah, that's his first film, and it has the Hispanic one. What's her name as well? She's just like the
I don't know.
the badass girl and
She's-
everything.
yeah.
Like she's in fucking Fast and Furious. Like the film didn't have like star power. It just had special effects, and that is it. All that it had was special effects, and that was enough to break it. Because like it's not like, you know, an incredibly original story or anything like that. It's just this. It is literally, as you said, it's the spectacle.
Yeah, it was like a circus. People line up to see the circus, see the freak show, and
See
everyone
something
loved it.
new.
And see something new, something startlingly original. Except it's only the visuals, you know. Whereas no one lined up for Endgame to see. It's like, oh, whoa, this has never been done before, because everyone had literally seen Endgame about 40 times already. You know, because that's all Marvel movies are, just the same thing again and again. But like Avatar was like, whoa, I've never seen this before. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No offense to
What
our
do you think
Marvel
about?
stands out there.
What do you think about Avatar? Like, have you rewatched it? I haven't seen it in years.
Oh, I haven't rewatched in ages. I think we have the DVD, but I probably watched
Same.
it like 2012 or something, and like just never picked it up again.
But I'm pretty sure, like, if I watch it now, I don't even say it holds up. I can't imagine that the special effects actually do hold up. I guarantee you, their faces look really weird.
Yeah, well, I've seen a few clips recently. I didn't seem that out of place. Like, you know the way you see clips from Planet of the Apes, and the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which is 2011, doesn't really hold up. Like, it looks grand, but you can still see it's CGI. And there's certain parts where it's clearly like a man in a suit dragging people around. But like Avatar is like, it's more like the whole thing is CGI, so it works. It's more of an animated movie almost. So
Yeah, but I feel like fucking Sigourney Weaver's Navi face looks really weird, because I'm pretty sure it looked weird back then.
yeah, I don't know.
It was just slightly too similar to what her actual face looks like.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh god.
Yeah, James Cameron's gonna pull out of the bag again. I'll tell you that.
Maybe he will. I hope he. I mean, you know, if he shows something new,
Wait,
and different.
he did Akira actually, I think. Or was that he was producer or something on Akira?
Akira.
It was like, what's it called? It's like one of those. No, wait, Alita.
Oh, Alita, Battle
Battle
Angel,
Angel, yeah.
or the fucking yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Is it any use or what?
I don't know. I've no idea.
That's like
Well-
a French comic book or something. It's not even. I don't even think it's Japanese.
Yeah. But that was like one of his passion projects. But apparently it was shit.
Apparently it was shit. Apparently it wasn't even that good. Yeah, but he's mad for the ocean. He's like one of the only people that've been like to like the bottom of like some trench or some shit. I don't know. He's like
The
mad into the
Mariana
ocean.
Trench, yeah. He was actually on the Titanic.
He loves the ocean. He does. He loves exploring.
Mm.
So it makes kind of sense that Avatar 2.
The Titanic shows up. It's like, it's all coming together. Now that would make $5 billion.
That would make man. I would see that like 6 times happen. And you imagine if you just say the Cameron extended universe.
yeah. It's all like aliens show up as well. It's like Titanic has been transported into this like
Oh shit! I
alternate
forgot that
universe.
he did aliens.
Yeah, aliens. Yeah, it's all part of one like sort of slip universe where all these things exist in the same space. That would make billions, guarantee it.
Man, imagine he made like you know James, like the Avatar James, falling in love with a xenomorph on the Titanic.
And then they have sex on the poop deck.
I'm telling you, not millions, Mark, trillions. James
Trillions.
Cameron.
Trillions of beans. He will revive the economy post coronavirus.
I'm telling you, James, get on to me. I'll sell you the rights to this. To this idea that I just had
About his movies.
about his movies. And look, I know that Lolita.
Battle
It's your
Lolita.
Battle Lolita. Whatever that piece of shit film is called.
Battle Lolita. That's another idea.
Battle Lolita. I know it's your passion project. We can throw her in somewhere, James. Don't worry. We'll make her the captain, and it'll be shot underwater and outer space.
Yeah, and Terminator 2 as well. The Terminator's also being
Oh, sweet! There we go. This one writes itself.
it's coming together.
Reminder of what the recommended film for next week is, Mark.
Recommended for next week is Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal and Peeping Tom by Michael Powell. Two wee films, quite related. A lot about cameras and film itself. Both worth the
Similar
watch.
themes.
Peeping Tom is like you can find it online or whatever.
It's on
Nightcrawler.
YouTube for
Peeping
rental.
Tom is.
Yeah, for rental. If
Oh yeah.
you want to pay to watch that film,
If you want to pay, it's worth.
do
worth
what you
a few-
want.
a few G's. Yeah, do whatever you want. And then Nightcrawler is on Netflix. So give them a look. Have a look.
give them
We'll
a
all
go.
discuss them next week.
A lot of themes coming on next week.
A lot of thematic analyses.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
All right, we leave it at that then.
Alright, signing off.
Goodbye, everyone.
you
Hopefully
next
hopefully this episode actually makes it out, and the world is still around. And hopefully America doesn't have a coup.
Good night. God bless.
Good night. God bless. See you.